Hello, welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. Well, friends, today is a day that I just want to just lay back a little bit and talk about referees in general. Talk a little bit about, people keep asking me, Joe, how do you get started in boxing? Well, for you guys that are just beginners or starting to know a little bit about me, I started refereeing in 1977, but prior to that, I had a nice, brilliant amateur career and professional. I started in 1960 as a Golden Glover, winning the novice championship in Madison Square Garden along with my brother Mike. And we were the second set of brothers to win the Golden Gloves 1 year together. Then we broke history by becoming the first brother to win the championship 2 consecutive years. In 1961, we both took the Open Championship. I was a bantamweight, and my brother was a lightweight. Bantamweight, for you guys that don't know, is a 118-pounder. You know, some guys say, Joe, 118 pounds, that's all you weigh where you were fighting? Well, you know, when I turned pro at 117 3/4 pounds for my first pro fight. But anyway, so I won the Spanish Golden Gloves twice, 1960 and 61 as well. And then we had the Eastern Golden Glove Championships in Madison Square Garden. My brother Mike and I got to the Eastern Championships. And what was good about that night, that special night in Madison Square Garden, this is the old garden, the one on 51st Street and 8th Avenue, for those of you that remember back in those days. So anyway, my brother and I, we fought a couple of days before the semifinals and finals. So what happened was that the semifinals and finals were the same night in Madison Square Garden. And my brother Mike and I were saying, wow, we got to win this, because from here, we go to Chicago, fight for the Nationals. Well, that night, me, just a tall, little slick boxer. I was not a great puncher. I didn't think I was anyway, even though I knocked out a bunch of guys in my career. I didn't consider myself a puncher. I thought I was more of a boxer. But that night, I got lucky, guys. That night, I knocked out 2 guys the same night in Madison Square Garden. You know, the semifinals, Ralph Jackson, and then the finals, a guy named, last name was Taylor. And I remember it was a great evening. My brother also won the championship that night. He won one by decision, one by knockout that night. So that way, the first brothers to win the Eastern Golden Glove Championships the same night in Madison Square Garden. And then from there, they sent us up to Bear Mountain to train. That's upstate New York, to train for about 2 weeks to get us ready for the National Golden Glove Championships in Chicago. It was New York versus Chicago. They called it the National Golden Glove Championships back then. So that year, 1961, a couple of years ago, so I won the National Golden Glove Championship as a bantamweight. My brother Mike won it as a lightweight. So we're the first brothers in the history of the National Golden Gloves to win the championship the same night in different weight classes. So it was an honor for me. I turned pro the following year when I was 18, and I had an 18-1 record as a professional. A box rec has got me, I think, for about 12-1 or 11-1. There's some fights that are not recorded when I was fighting in Mexico during the era when Gaspar Indian Ortega, the famous welterweight, who got me started in boxing. And anyway, to make a long story short, from there I graduated. I retired from the amateurs. I retired from went into the pros, then retired from the professional ranks. I wasn't getting the opportunities I was looking for. Today I will be fighting for the championship with that kind of a record. But anyway, I retired young, and I remember I got the bug in me. I felt like coming back again back in 1971. I had moved to Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in New York. My parents were from Puerto Rico, but I decided to move to Puerto Rico and started working at the El Conquistador Hotel. And I got the bug about making a comeback 3 years later. So I came back in 1971 for my comeback and see where I was going to go. And I just wanted to just work out a little bit. And at the gym, they were telling me, Joe, you look good. You're probably with these pros in there. Well, yeah, one more fight and see how you do. So I took a shot. I won. I beat a guy named Salah Chappelle from Dominican Republic. And I won the easy 4-round decision. It was easy, but I said, you know what? I got the bug out of me. I don't want to continue fighting. I stayed in the hospitality business. Then was when I met Pat Mascia, who was my referee when I was fighting in the amateurs at Golden Gloves in New York City. Pat Mascia was a guest at the hotel, gave me his phone number. He said, Joe, if one day you come back to New York, give me a call. Well, so happened that the following year, I decided I wanted to go back to New York after spending 8 years in Puerto Rico. So I got to practice my Spanish a lot while I was in Puerto Rico. So it helped me a lot during my lifetime because, little what I know later on, after I retired from refereeing, ESPN, Deportes hired me to do some networking with them, some commentating in Spanish. So that was good. And being a little bit fluent in Spanish helped me a lot. Anyway, so Pat Masher said, Joe, you come up to New York, give me a call. I gave him a call the following year, and he planted the seed in my head about becoming an amateur referee. So I took a shot at it with the Police Athletic League up in the Bronx, up on Webster Avenue, where Johnny Defoe was the executive director. He said, Joe, I want you to get started, the amateurs, with these young kids, 10, 11-year-old kids. I started refereeing these young kids. He said, Joe, you're looking pretty decent. I want to recommend you go to the Golden Gloves. It's right around the corner. And I started refereeing the Golden Gloves. I remember one night, there was a big snowstorm during the Golden Glove tournaments. There was 27 fights one night in Brooklyn, and no referee showed up. I was the only one there. And guess what? I ended up doing 27 fights that night. I got my friend Jason Vincent, here in Las Vegas, told me the other day, he said he had a referee 35 fights. I said, well, you broke my record. Anyway, but sometimes, you get to that point where there's so many fights in one night. Sometimes you have 70 fights. At the head Vegas, they had like 70 fights in one day. They had like three different rings, and 3 referees were working at the same time. They were like over 500 fighters, amateurs, were participating here. That's how Jason Vincent ended up doing 37 fights that day. Anyway, so I refereed 27 fights. That the Golden Gloves quarterfinals right around the corner. And Pat Masher, who got me into the Golden Gloves, and Johnny Defoe, they said, Joe, maybe we'll see you next year because nobody does the quarterfinals the first year as a Golden Glover. Well, I got a notice in the mail that I'm doing the quarterfinals. I called Pat. I said, Pat, hey, guess what? They got me doing the quarterfinals. He said, Joe, you got to be kidding. Anyway, I wish you the best of luck. So I did the quarterfinals, okay? He said, we'll see you next year, Joe. I got another notice in the mail. He said, Joe, you're doing the semifinals. Semifinals? He said, Joe, you got to be kidding. Unbelievable. Anyway, we'll see you next year. And guess what? I got another notice to do 2 championship fights for the finals in Madison Square Garden. And I'm only refereeing 6 months in the amateurs. And so I remember referee Juan Laporte was one of the fighters that night who won the featherweight championship. And that was in 1977. And the Golden Gloves. And then next thing you know, a week later, I get a call from the Deputy Commissioner, Frank Morris, for the New York State Athletic Commission. He said, Joe, can you come up to the office? I want to talk to you. So I went up to say, what he wants to talk to me about? What did I didn't do that wrong, I don't think. Anyway, he called me up there. He said, Joe, I was watching you the other night, Madison Square Garden. I liked the way you were moving in that ring. You move more like a professional referee than an amateur referee. An amateur referee move around real slow and whatnot with verbal commands from the outside. And the pros, you jump in more quicker. You move around, verbal commands. You separate them. He said, Joe, you were working like a pro. He said, and I want to turn you pro. I said, Mr. Morris, but I just started refereeing. He said, well, Joe, you know what? I want you to turn pro now. I said, am I going to be working on a regular basis? Because I don't want to turn pro and then don't work. He said, Joe, I promise you one thing. I'll have you working on every card we have in New York City. And back then they were having 1 or 2 shows per week. So I'm working 6, 7 times a month. He said, you're going to be working every card, working the preliminary fights. We work you, get you sharp, work you up there till you get to the main events. So anyway, so I started working the preliminary fights, and I did that for a couple of years. Before you know it, I think a year and a half later, they had me do my first main event on national TV on NBC Sports. I did my first 10-round fight. And I said, wow. Anyway, I met them. I went to New Jersey to a boxing event. I ran into Jersey Joe Walcott, who was a commissioner in New Jersey. He said, Joe, those Puerto Rican, New York, I see you working all the time. I'd like to get you, you're not licensed in New Jersey yet. If you'd like to be licensed, I said, I would love to. He gave me a license in New Jersey. I started refereeing in New York and New Jersey, and I'm staying busy in both states. Next thing you know, I'm going to my 5th year as a professional. I get a call from Bob Lee, who was the executive to Jersey Joe Walker. He was a deputy commissioner in New Jersey, assistant commissioner, and he gave me my license to referee with the WBA. He said, Joe, I'm going to recommend you become a WBA official. So I got my first the championship fight with Aaron Pryor, Miguel Montilla in Atlantic City, 1982. And that was a great honor. For my dream was to do one world championship fight. I was so happy. I was delighted to be a referee for a championship fight. Well, anyway, from then on, everything started happening. Then I went up to did up in Vancouver. They had me doing Michael Spinks and Oscar River De Niro in 1982. And then everything started moving from then on. I ended up refereeing for 35 years. I ended up doing championship fights all over the world. And refereeing, in every country there was, except Brazil. I didn't referee in Brazil, and I did not referee in the Philippines. Every place else, or in Africa. Those are three places I never refereed. Every place else, I refereed. And I had a great time, a great journey. And then, after 35 years as a referee, well, prior to that, I got inducted to the New Jersey Hall of Fame. Then I got inducted to the World Boxing Hall of Fame. Then I got inducted to the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2011. And I'm already 34 years as a referee with over 175 world championship fights under my belt and over 1,000 professional fights. I said to myself, I never kept record of that because you look that up online on BoxRec and it tells you my record of how many championship fights I referee. They had me for more, but I don't count a lot of championship fights because they were like minor title fights. I don't count. I count only WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF. Those are the only four sanctioning bodies that I that I count as championship fights. Or the IBC and IBU and all those other alphabet group organizations, I don't count them. And not that I will take anything away from them, but I don't count them as world title fights. Anyway, my 35th year in boxing, my last year, I refereed about 6 title fights, and then my last fight was Canelo Alvarez and Josecito Lopez. And I said to myself, I'm going to retire tonight. I surprised everybody. And I said, I'm retiring tonight. I said, please announce it that tonight's my final night. That was September 2012, Canelo Alvarez, Josecito Lopez. A lot of people say, how do you still remember all these things, Joe? At your age, you still keep it all up here. Well, today I feel that I'm about to lose it all. That's why I'm going to pack it in all together. But right now, I still feel like I'm in my 30s. I'm sharp. I feel like I want to pay forward. I'm still aggressive when it comes to doing anything in life. I like to help out the seniors out there. I like to talk to the kids out there, keep myself active and going. Most recently, I was with the VA hospital. They called me to see if I could become a motivational speaker for them, to help them out with some things there. And I'm looking at that because I can help them out. Why not? I'm helping with the senior citizen groups. There's a lady by the name of Deanne Cameron who's involved with the senior programs here. She's the chairperson of a senior program they have in Las Vegas. She was appointed by the governor last December. And she asked me to come to some events and talk to the seniors. And I said, sure, why not? Now that I'm retired, so I said, why not? I can do a lot out there. So I'm out in the community helping out and paying it forward. But one thing I talk about retiring, and the reason why I want to talk about this on the show today is about sometimes referees have to say to themselves, you know what? It's time for me to give it up and move forward and do other things in life. I stay involved with boxing. I'm involved. I'm helping out with the amateur community. I still do some commentating, a lot of interviews with on podcasts with different countries. I just did one with Panama last week, United Kingdom, and Argentina. I'm always doing interviews. But, my thing is to say to myself, when I was like 10 years prior to my retirement, I was saying to myself, there's no age limit for retirement. But I said to myself, at the time when I was thinking about retiring in the future, I was 59. And I said, you know what? I started when I was 33. I said, when I get to a certain age, I'm going to start thinking about retiring. So without the age of 59, I was saying, 10 years from now, I'm going to pack it in. And that's just what I did. My 35th year as a professional referee, I said, that's it. I'm packing it in. I will open the doors for other young referees like Kenny Bayless, Russell Mora, Tony Weeks, Benji Estevez, Jack Reese, Thomas Taylor. There's so many referees out there, Celestino Ruiz, so many referees I helped throughout my career, share my knowledge and wisdom with them to get them on the right track and move them up. So I said, I have no ego. There's a time when I say to myself, I got to pack it in and do other things. I got so many other things. The last chapter of my life is going to be my best one. I got so many things. I got people in mind, things I want to do things with in the future, and I know I'm going to make things happen because I'm an individual. I think positive all the time. When it talks about negativity, that's not me. And positive, you look in the dictionary and you look at that word positive, it's a picture there of me above the word positive, because I love to think positive and move forward in life. There's always good things happen in the future. I don't let things bother me, you know. There's a lot of individuals out there that let the small little things take the best of them and make them feel like crap every day. I wake up every morning thinking positive. I say, great, I'm awake, I'm alive. What am I going to do today? And that's why I keep going forward. That's why I wanted to talk to you guys out there today about anything you do in life, whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, law enforcement, whatever you are, an official in boxing, whatever you are, always think of a certain time that you got to pack it in, because you want to stay sharp in your life. You want to live a long life, but you also want to, if you was in the business that we're the hurt business, refereeing, we're there to protect fighters. But we want to make sure that if we're not doing our job the proper, we're not moving the way we used to move 10 years earlier or 15 years before that, you're moving around real good and sharp, as you're told, moving around, jumping in, know when to pull a trigger, when to stop a fight, you know, and protect these fighters. That's when you guys got to say to yourself, I want to stay that way. The day I think I don't have it anymore, I got to start thinking of packing it in. But it's best to go out on top, you know. There's some referees, most recently, like Russell Moore. He would just reach up to the top. He says, Joe, I'm going out. I want to go up while I'm on top. I said, good for you. He's only 60 years of age. Well, there's individuals out there that I say to myself, and I tell them, you know, it's time to pack it in. You know, when you reach a certain age in life, pack it in. You know, you did it all already. Now pay it forward. Help all the other officials that are coming up the ranks. They want to go forward, want to do things. Open the doors for them, just like the doors will open for you when you get started. That's what I think about myself. People helped me out when I was starting out. Gaspar Ortega helped me out, Pat Masher, Johnny Defoe, when I was getting in the amateurs and into the pro ranks. And Gaspar Ortega got me started when I was 12 years old. And I got his son, Mike Ortega, another referee that I didn't mention with that group a few minutes ago. Mike Ortega is another up-and-coming referee. He's a guy, there's my godson, Mike Ortega, and I helped him to get started in boxing. And what I like to do as well is talk to some of these commissioners. I like to talk to commissioners, people in boxing, so I can help and guide them. But some of these individuals are just getting into the game. Maybe they've been doing it 5, 10, 15 years. But I got over 60 years of experience of boxing under my belt. So I like to help out commissioners around the country. They call me up for different advice and whatnot, certain things, and I love to do that because sometimes, you know, don't look at me like I'm not an active referee anymore. I retired, but now I'm a person that can help guide you if you're a commissioner or you're involved with a sanctioning body, an inspector, timekeeper, judge, whatever you are. Call me up. Make contact with me on my Facebook page or contact me on the Joe Cortez Show. And also on my fairbutfirm.com, there's a little slot in there. You could call me up or send me an email asking me different questions. I want to help you guys get on the right track. You know, nothing bothers me. Anybody call me for anything. If you're talking negativity, you want to talk about that, I can get you out of that habit because there's no reason to be negative about anything in life. Think positive. Think about all the good things you can do in life, how you can help other people out there. That's the main thing. You know, I still feel like I can still go another 50 years the way I feel right now. That's how I feel. I wish I could go that far, you know, but I want to die young at an old age. You know what I'm talking about? So in other words, be old but stay young. That's the way you want to die. Young. You want to die young. You don't want to die old. You want to die young, feeling good up to your last day on this planet. So always give it, pay it forward, help people out there. And, you know, like I said before, sometimes things don't work out for you all the right way all the time. But, you know, you make the best of it. You think to yourself, wait a minute, I know there is a God. And God's always been watching out for me. Because I like to help people. I care for people. I love people out there. My thing is making sure that things go the right way in life for all of us, you know? So all I can say to you today is that if you're involved with the sport of boxing, you want to learn how to become an official, look at my websites. Look at the shows that I do out there. There's other referees out there that are talking about Jack Reese, Russell Moore, Benji Esteves. All these guys giving seminars about refereeing and whatnot, how you start. You know, I give you a little story about how I started in New York with the Police Athletic League. Go to your local gyms and find out with this boxing training going on, find out how you can get started with the amateur ranks and get yourself started the way I did. It's a lot of fun, you know, getting involved in there with sports. Now, if you don't like boxing, try baseball, or football, tennis, or whatever you want to do. There's so many sports out there you can get involved with. But don't give up on yourself. Don't think that everything is impossible. I say everything is possible. You know, and sometimes somebody closes the door, go up the hallway up there. You know, there's other doors up there. Other doors will open up for you, and you'll see that that door that opens up there is better than the door that was closed behind you just a couple of days ago. There's always hope for you. You know, other doors, one door closes, another one opens up. So just think positive. There's some good things in life, you know. There's a lot of senior citizens out there that are going through difficult times, and that's why I love going out talking to them as well, because I tell them, you know, I had COVID. I got hit with COVID in 2020, you know, a couple of years ago, and I tell you, I was down and out, but I refused to take the full count. I said, no, I can't be put down, but I'm going to get back up, because I always feel like a champ. A champ always got to get up and keep going forward, you know. They thought I was gone. Everybody thought Joe's going to. You know how many thousands of emails I got for get well wishes and prayers by people all over. I thank you guys for those get well wishes and prayers for me. I was reading on Wikipedia the other day, Joe Cortez passed away in 2018. I said, what? Who are they talking about? And mentioned me as a referee. I'm still here. I'm very much alive, guys. You can see it on this show here. There's no putting me down. I'm not a loser. I'm not dead. I'm far from dead. I'm going to keep going forward and making sure that you guys keep going forward as well, you know? So you keep going in the right direction. If you think something is not going the right way, there's so much help for you out there. There's so many individuals. I was, you know, at the VA hospital, they have individuals that are veterans. Our veterans, me being a veteran myself, but the veterans, there's a lot of veterans out there, a lot of high rate of suicide out there with veterans. Alcohol. There's so many things that they're homeless and whatnot, and we got to go out there and help them out, get them on the right track, help them out. That's why when I spoke to a gentleman the other day who called me about helping them out, getting involved with the Veterans Administration and being with the peer program to help them out, I said, sure, why not? You know, this is something I love doing, because if it's to help other individuals, we have to do that. And you guys that are out there, you have a neighbor, maybe you can see a neighbor, maybe a senior citizen or somebody that needs a little help. If you're going shopping and you know that person can't get out, knock on their door, say, hey, I'm going shopping, I'm going to pick up some items for you. I'm going to the drugstore. Sometimes they need meds and they can't keep up with their meds because they can't get to the drugstore. Maybe you can do that favor and do that for them. Because, you know, the thing is, to help people out and pay for it. Because one day, you never know, you're going to be in that position, and you're going to say to yourself, I wish I had somebody, like Joe was saying, somebody have a buddy system where somebody come in, knock on my door, see how I'm doing, making sure everything's okay. With that said, guys, keep your guards up at all time, protect yourselves at all time. God bless you all. Catch you next week. Take care. Goodbye. Bye.